And we're now recording. So we're just reviewing for the final. So I'm just going to do 2 a day. So yesterday, reviewed exam 6 and 1. Today, 2 and 3. A lot of trig. And 4 and 5 tomorrow. And that'll be it. Okay. And then first day of finals is our final exam, Monday the 24th, 11:10 to 1:40. So you get until 1:40 to finish. Expect about 3 questions per test. 3 times 6 is 18, and then maybe a couple more here and there. So grand total maybe 20 questions, since I normally give you about 10. So just study off the old exams, of which we're reviewing now. So if you want to just study by looking at yesterday's video and today's video and tomorrow's video, that should be good enough. You should just review that. I'm not promising you I'll ask the very same questions, but questions that are similar to them. Okay. So again, you don't need the book anymore, essentially. So just forget about the book, forget about all the homework, so to speak. You can just study off the exams. You may have 6 formula sheets, so 1 for each of the previous tests. So if you still have the cheat sheet from the previous 6 tests, just bring them in. And if you want to add to it, you may. And you can use a calculator, of course. There's no homework to turn in. So usually you turn in the homework with the test, not for the final exam. You just take the final exam and then we're done. Okay. So I'll review test 2, I'll review test 3, and that's it. Yesterday I did 6 and 1. Check the video for that. 2 and 3 today. I'll send the video for that. And then tomorrow, 4 and 5. So most likely we'll finish before 12, unless anybody has any questions. Same thing for tomorrow. Okay, so any quick questions before we start? Let me check the chat. Okay, nothing in the chat. So I will go ahead and start reviewing for the test number 2. Okay, so test 2. Quickly through the questions. Again, theoretically, you still should have all of this. And ignore my writings on the right side. And it's just my own notes, quick answers, and so on. See, okay, so you should be able to read all that now. Number 1, give the domain of this function. So the thing underneath the square root has to be greater than or equal to 0. Negative 3x plus 10 is greater than or equal to 0. Add 3x, divide by 3. So 10/3 is greater than or equal to x, or x is less than or equal to 10/3. So negative infinity, comma, 10/3. Number 2 is piecewise defined. So x squared we know is parabolic, and then radical x is a square root function going through the origin. So here's the x squared part, and then square root of function looks something like that. Number 3, average rate of change means you plug in 2, plug in 6, and you basically do the slope, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. F of 2 is 4 minus 4, which is 0. F of 6 is 6 squared minus 2 times 6, or 36 minus 12, which is 24. So the average rate of change is f of 6 minus f of 2 divided by 6 minus 2. 24 minus nothing divided by 4, 6. Number 4, square root of x looks like this. Square root of x plus 2, move the graph 2 units to the left. So this one goes to 0, 0, the origin. This one will go to negative 2, 0. Number 5, f of g of x. F of, here's g of x, negative 4x plus 13. And then you take this thing and plug it into f, which is 5 times negative 4x plus 13 minus 21. Clean it up, negative 20x plus 65 minus 21, negative 20x plus 44. Number 6, find the inverse function. So y equals x cubed minus 5. Switch around x and y. X equals y cubed minus 5. Then resolve for y. add 5, x plus 5 equals y cubed. Take the cube root, so y equals f inverse of x. Be able to write the f inverse. I want you to be able to write that for the f inverse function is cube root of x plus 5. Okay, 7, find a linear function satisfying these two. It basically means it goes through the point 2, 11 and negative 3, 1. So it's just like if they were to ask, find the equation of the line as a function passing through 2, 11 and negative 3, 1. So find the slope, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, 1 minus 11 divided by negative 3 minus 2, negative 10 divided by negative 5, 2. Then do the point slope form, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, y minus 11 equals 2 times x minus 2. Clean it up and solve as a function, y minus 11 equals 2x minus 4, so y equals 2x plus 7 is the function f of x. Number 8, asked to find, graph it and indicate the vertex and intercepts. So vertex formula is negative b over 2a. So that's 2 over 2 times 1, which is 1. Plug in 1, you get negative 4, 1 comma negative 4. Okay, so the intercepts, the original function factors in x minus 3, x plus 1, set that equal to 0, x is 3 or negative 1. So 3 comma 0, negative 1, 0. And in the original, if you plug in 0, you get negative 3. So those are my intercepts. Okay, so we have an intercept at 3, 0, negative 1, 0, and 0, negative 3. And I know the vertex is 1, negative 4. So that's enough to give you the graph. Okay, number 9, among all rectangles that have a perimeter of 12 meters, find the dimensions of the one with maximum area. So here's a rectangle. Perimeter is 12, 2x plus 2y equals 12. Solve for y. 2y equals 12 minus 2x, divided by 2. Y is equal to 12 minus 2x divided by 2, or 6 minus x. So the area function, area is x times y, x times 6 minus x, 6x minus x squared, or negative x squared plus 6x, which we know is a parabola which opens down. So the vertex will be the maximum point. So I just find the vertex. So x is negative b over 2a. So negative 6 over 2 times negative 1 is 3. And if I plug in 3, y is also 3. So x is 3 meters, y is also 3 meters. Okay, and I'm finished with that side, so I'll do my focus thing. Okay, go back and show you the focus. And on that, okay. Okay, 10 and 11. 10, using intercepts and plugging in appropriate values, graph this function. Okay, so the zeros are negative 2, 1, and 4. Negative 2, 1, and 4. So right now the graph looks like this, which means the graph is either going to go up or down after that. So I just pick a number over here and here and here and here to tell me if it's positive or negative. Okay, so I plugged in, I made a little sign chart, negative 5. Negative 5 plus 2 is negative. Negative 5 minus 1 is negative. Negative 5 minus 4 is negative. Negative times negative is negative. That means it goes down. Okay, then I pick something between negative 2 and 1, like 0. 0 plus 2 is positive. 0 minus 1 is negative. 0 minus 4 is negative. Positive times negative is positive. So it goes up. And then I plugged in a number like 2, and I see that it goes down. Because if I plug in 2, 2 plus 2 is positive. 2 minus 1 is positive. 2 minus 4 is negative. Positive times negative is negative, so it goes down. And then over here it goes up. So past 4, like 5, everything is positive. 5 plus 2 is positive. 5 minus 1 is positive. 5 minus 4 is positive. Positive times positive is positive. So it goes up. So here's a rough sketch. Okay, finally, number 11. 1 over x plus 1 squared, include a discussion of intercepts and asymptotes. Okay, so I start with y equals 1 over x squared, which is an even function. Okay, looks like this, looks like this. Okay, so if I replace x with negative x, I get the same thing. So I have symmetry with respect to the y-axis. Okay, if I plug in a real big x value, y is almost 0. If I plug in a real small x value, like 0.0001, it gets really big. And then by symmetry, I take the mirror image and I have this. Okay, and then y equals 1 over x plus 1 squared. That just picks up the graph and moves it 1 to the left. So my asymptote, which used to be the y-axis, is now x equals -1. Okay, it goes like that. When I plug in 0, I get 1. So the intercept is 0, 1. Vertical asymptote is x equals -1. Horizontal asymptote is y equals 0, which is the same thing as the x-axis. Okay, so let me show you the focus on this. All right, that's it for the second test. And I'll do the third test. Yeah, some of you might be saying, that's really all I have to do to study for the final or study the old exams. Yes, that's it. Okay, don't go back and do anything else. You check the chat. Okay, Neva, I'll get you later. Dimitri, I'll get you later. Okay, all right. Okay, so exam 3, which was the beginning of trig. Okay, so I can't quite, let me go down the left and then go down the right, rather than trying to focus all of that. Okay, then move over for that. Okay, ignore my red markings there. Okay. Okay, so number 1, y equals -3 to the x plus 1. Okay, exponential function 3 to the x looks like that, goes through 0, 1. -3 to the x goes like that, goes through 0, -1. And then I move the graph up 1 unit. So it looks like so. Okay, so the domain is all real numbers. The range is from -infinity up to 1, not including 1, so parenthesis. Horizontal asymptote y equals 1, and the only intercept is 0, 0. Number 2, ask for e to the x minus 2. Here's e to the x, goes through 0, 1. E to the x minus 2 looks like so. So intercepts, plug in 0, you get -2. This one's a little harder. I have to solve 0 equals e to the x minus 2. Add 2 to both sides. 2 equals e to the x. Take the natural log. X is ln 2. So this is 0, -1. This is natural log of 2, 0. Domain is all real numbers. The range is from -2 to infinity. Horizontal asymptote y equals -2. And the intercepts are 0, -1, and natural log of 2, 0. 3, solve without a calculator. Log base 9 of 27. Okay, call it x. Unscramble it. 9 raised to the x equals 27. Rewrite it so that they have the same base, like 3. 9 is 3 squared. So I have 3 squared, 9 to the x equals 3 cubed. If you have a power and then another power, you multiply the powers. 3 to the 2x equals 3 cubed. So now I can set 2x equal to 3. X equals 3 halves. Okay, 4, ln of a quotient is ln of the top minus ln of the bottom. Ln x squared minus ln 1 plus x squared. Square root means raised to the 1/2. Half comes down, 2 comes down. Final answer, 2 natural log of x minus 1/2 natural log of 1 plus x squared. Number 5, the original looks like this. Plus means I can write them as a multiplication. log of x times x plus 1. Log base 6 of x times x plus 1 equals 1. Unscramble it. 6 raised to the 1 is equal to x times x plus 1. Subtract 6 on both sides. X squared plus x minus 6 equals 0. Factor x plus 3, x minus 2 equals 0, which means x is negative 3 or x is 2, but negative 3 is not allowed because you're not allowed to take the log of a negative number. Okay, so that's no good. So the only real solution is 2. Okay, number 6, it says you start off with 100 bacteria. So the formula is A of t is 100 e to the kt. Then they tell me after 5 hours, I plug in 5 here, you have 623. So put 623 here, 5 there. Divide by 100, 6.23. 6.23 equals e to the 5k. Take the natural log of both sides. That way these cancel out. ln and e back to back cancel out. ln of 6.23 is equal to 5k. Divide both sides by 5. K is ln 6.23 divided by 5. Punch it in your calculator, 0.365875. So that's my K, goes back up here. So A of t is 100 e to the 0.36 blah, blah, blah t. Then it asks what happens after 8 hours. I plug in 8. So A of 8 is 100 e to the 0.365875 times 8. Punch it in your calculator. For bacteria, round to the nearest whole number. Number of bacteria, number of people, nearest whole number. So 1867. Okay, number 7. A right triangle has a hypotenuse of 15, one side of length 8. Call the angle between them theta. So here we are. Do my Pythagorean theorem. X squared plus 8 squared is equal to 15 squared. 8 squared is 64, 15 squared is 225. Subtract 161, x is the square root of 161. Then I do my SOHCAHTOA. Okay, so the sine of theta is opposite over hypotenuse, radical 161 over 15. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, 8 over 15. Tangent is opposite over adjacent, radical 161 over 8. Reciprocal of sine is cosecant. Reciprocal of cosine is secant. Reciprocal of tangent is cotangent. You're supposed to put the thetas and flip, flip, flip. So 15 over radical 161, 15 over 8, 8 over radical 161. Okay, number 8. A building contractor wants to put a fence around a perimeter of a flat lot that has shape of a right triangle. One angle of the triangle is 40 degrees and the length of the hypotenuse is 60 feet. Find the length of fencing required. Okay, so 60, x, y, 40. Sine of 40 degrees is opposite over hypotenuse, so x over 60. Multiply both sides by 60. X is 60 sine of 40 degrees, about 38.57. Cosine of 40 degrees is adjacent over hypotenuse, y over 60. Multiply both sides by 60. Y is 60 times cosine of 40, 45.96. So perimeter, add them up. 60 plus 38.57 plus 45.96. Okay, round to the nearest whole number, 145 feet. Okay, number 9. Cosine of negative 315 degrees. So well, if I go all the way around backwards, negative 360, that's a whole revolution backwards. Negative 315 lands me here. Same spot as 45 degrees. And I know both the x and y coordinates are radical 2 over 2. So the answer is radical 2 over 2. Okay. Number 10, and then I'm done, folks. We're done real early. So if anybody has any question, you can ask it or put it in the chat. Otherwise, we'll be done in a few minutes. Sine of theta is 1/3. Theta is in quadrant 2. Find the other 5 trig functions of theta. Okay, so I know sine squared of theta plus cosine squared theta is equal to 1. 1/3 squared plus cosine squared theta is 1. 1/3 squared is 1/9. Subtract 1/9. 1 minus 1/9 is 8/9. So cosine theta is negative in quadrant 2. So I want negative the square root of 8/9. 8 is 4 times 2. Take out the 4. Negative 2 radical 2 over 3. So I know sine of theta is 1/3. Cosine theta is negative 2 radical 2 over 3. Tangent is sine over cosine. And you know the trick, if I have that divided by that, the 3's will just drop out. Negative 1 over 2 radical 2. And then flip, flip, flip. Reciprocal of the sine is cosecant. So cosecant theta is 3/1, which is 3. Secant of theta is a reciprocal of this. So flip it, negative 3/2 radical 2. You don't have to rationalize the denominator. And flip this one for cotangent. And it should be negative, should be a negative there. Negative 2 radical 2. And that's about it. Okay, so I'm going to do my focus thing. Otherwise, that's about it, folks. Barely past 11:30. So I'll show you this. I'll keep blabbing and talking. So if you have a question, put it in the chat now. I've shown you exams 2 and 3. Yesterday, I showed you 6 and 1. And tomorrow, 4 and 5. Just study these for the final exam. That's going to be good enough. Don't worry about the book anymore. Don't worry about homework anymore. Just look at the previous exams. Okay, so again, the most likely scenarios, I'll pick maybe 3 questions from every test. Not necessarily the very same question, although I could, but just a variety, little change of it. Okay, so that was exams 2 and 3. Yesterday you had 6 and 1. Just look at these. And tomorrow 4 and 5. And that's it until the final exam. So again, Monday, go straight to the final exam. I'll send you the exam over Canvas announcements a little bit before 11:10, so maybe 11:05, 11:06, something like that. And you have 2.5 hours to do roughly 20 questions. Okay. All right. Any questions, please? Otherwise, we're finished. I'll check the chat. Okay, so I'll wait a few more seconds in case somebody's typing in, or if anybody wants to unmute yourself, you may. Otherwise, that's it. And tomorrow will be likewise, not that long. We're just going to do review of tests 4 and 5. Okay, any questions, please? All right, that's it, folks. Okay, so have a good day. Start reviewing for the final, and we'll see you tomorrow. Okay, all right, bye, everybody. Have a good day.